You ever have one of those mornings where you're standing in your own house, bagel halfway to your mouth, and it suddenly hits you like, oh, fantastic, my neighbor isn't just eccentric. She's weaponized. Clipboard, orthopedic sneakers, the whole loadout. That was my Tuesday. About 8 a.m. robe hanging open, front door frame exposed, rainbow-colored wires swaying gently in the breeze like some sad little art installation. And I know what you're thinking. How bad could it really be? Let me set the scene properly. 10 feet away, Mrs. Gable is in her yard, delicately deadheading her petunias with the precision of a heart surgeon and the emotional warmth of a Bond villain. She doesn't look at me. She doesn't need to. I can feel it in my bones. She knows exactly what I'm staring at. The empty screw holes in my stucco, the ones where my doorbell camera used to live, are practically vibrating with her brand of insanity. Gone. Again. My camera vanished. But this time, I wasn't grabbing my phone to call the cops and earn myself another polite shrug. Not this time. Because this camera, it came with a little bonus. A digital tripwire tucked neatly inside the casing. And if you're wondering what kind of adult man booby-traps a doorbell, you need to rewind with me. Let's go back to the day I signed the deed for 42 Elm Street. A fixer-upper with the unsettling charm of a haunted dollhouse. One of those life choices that ranks right alongside buying gas station sushi. Why'd I do it? Simple. I wanted to fix something. I wanted the cliched dream. Standing on my own deck, cold beer in hand, admiring my tiny kingdom. The realtor, Linda, swore the neighborhood was quiet, her breath heavy with peppermint schnapps and desperation. What she meant was ruled by an elderly suburban warlord with a taste for order and a personal vendetta against joy. Move-in day. Brutally hot. I'm wrestling a cracked leather couch to the front door, sweat everywhere when I feel it. You know that instinct when the air changes? Birds go silent, wind drops, and your brain says predator nearby. That's when I saw her, Mrs. Gable, maybe 5 feet tall, hair sprayed into something that could deflect small caliber rounds. Floral blouse, eyes like a parole officer. She scans me, zeroes in on the sweat stains, then points at my doorframe. You scuff the paint. White semi-gloss. It looks cheap. No hello. No welcome casserole. Just judgment. I try being friendly. I'm Jack. Just bought the place. She snaps her pen like it's a firearm and starts reading charges. Trash cans out too long. Moving truck idling too much. Possible crabgrass. I hadn't even unpacked a spoon yet, and I was already a repeat offender. She marched off stiff-backed, and I stood there half inside my own house wondering if I'd moved next to a prison warden. I tried ignoring her. I really did. But every day brought a new note. Grass over 2.5 inches. Curtains not properly light. Guest part 2 close to the curb. Meanwhile, my bathroom wiring dated back to the Carter administration and could have made a fire marshal cry. That's when I called a contractor. Sully. If Mrs. Gable was a bonsai of malice, Sully was an old oak struck by lightning, built like a refrigerator, speaks mostly in grunts, drives a Ford that sounds like it's coughing up a dragon. First walkthrough. He calls the house a dump, says the wiring's dangerous, and the plumbing looks like it was installed by a drunk octopus. I hand him coffee. We bond. Even Sully isn't safe. He parks his truck with the tailgate 6 inches over the sidewalk, and she materializes instantly, screaming about ADA violations, snapping photos, threatening the city. Sully stares down at her, all 6'4" of him, and says, "Lady, I'm unloading." 5 minutes. Relax. She photographs his face. "Evidence," she yells. I'm stuck between them while she adds unauthorized commercial activity to my imaginary file. Sully spits, shakes his head. You bought a house next to that woman. You're going to need a bigger fence. Maybe a priest. That's when I decided I was done. If she was keeping a file on me, I was keeping one on her. I bought the best doorbell camera money could buy. Installed it myself. Motion sensors, night vision, two-way audio. The works. I showed Sully like a proud parent. She's not going to like that, he said. Didn't matter. My house. My safety. He laughed. Poke the bear, get the claws. 2 days later, mid-Zoom call with my boss. There's pounding on the door. Cops. Officer Miller. Tired eyes. Complaint filed. Illegal surveillance. Apparently, I was spying on her bathroom. The officer chuckles when I say it, because honestly, how could you not? I pull up the live feed and show him exactly what the camera sees, my porch, the street, and just the edge of Mrs. Gable's driveway. That's it. No windows, no bathrooms, no spy movie nonsense. He squints, nods, then sighs. If you could angle it a little to the left just to keep the peace. I tell him I'm not trying to be right, just safe. He gets it. Tells me, gently not to escalate. As he walks back to his cruiser, Mrs. Gable stands on her porch pointing at the sky, gesturing like she's calling in an airstrike. Night falls. I check the camera. All normal. A moth. A cat. Leaves blowing. The next morning, it's wrong. Too quiet. No birds. I check my phone. Camera offline. Timestamp. 3:42 a.m. I bolt downstairs. The wires are hanging out of the wall, like exposed veins. Camera gone. Her blinds are shut tight, but I just know, I march over my pajamas, rage doing the steering, and pound on her door. I know you took it. Silence. I bluff. It uploads to the cloud. A window cracks open. Get off my property or I'll call the police. I shout back. She denies it. Slams the window. I check the app. Last recording? Nothing. She cut the power. Jammed the Wi-Fi. Whatever it took. Smart. Sully shows up later and finds me staring at the empty wall. She got it, huh? I nod. He whistles. Bold. I respect the hustle. But cops aren't kicking down a grandma's door over $100 doorbell. She's playing chess. You're playing checkers. So what do? Don't let her win, he says. But you can't beat her with rules. She owns the rules. Get creative. He's right. That afternoon, I buy a decoy camera. Cheap. Obvious. Big yellow you're on camera sign and everything. It lasts 3 days. Middle of the night, I hear a noise. Grab a bat, no idea why, and run outside. By morning, the camera's in the trash. Smashed to pieces. Message received. I can touch you. You can't touch me. The cops come again. Did you see her take it? The officer asks. I saw a robe. A robe isn't a positive ID, sir. Civil matter. 3 words that mean we're not touching this. I'm defeated for about 10 minutes. Then Sully lights up. His cousin works in vehicle security. Trackers. Text Tiny now. You can hide one inside a doorbell. That's when it clicks. We hit the hardware store. Sully drives because his truck is the only thing big enough to contain my anxiety. Over breakfast burritos in the parking lot, we plan. Doorbell shell. Gold trim. GPS tracker sensitive enough to register a sneeze. I want to watch the dot move. Inside, I grab a doorbell and 4 trackers. The kid tries to sell me a cloud subscription. Braden, I don't need a plan. I need revenge in plastic form. Back home, Sully lays out the tools, epoxy, screwdrivers, soldering iron for the vibes. We got the doorbell, wire in the tracker, add washer for weight. Seal it up. It looks perfect. Expensive. Tempting. I mount it back on the wall with loose screws. No security bolts. Just a regular Phillips. A dare in doorbell form. Night 1, nothing. I drink too much Red Bull and start naming dust bunnies. Night 2, nothing. Mrs. Gable pretends not to notice, but I catch her eyes flicking toward it. Night 3, I'm convinced she's on to me. Maybe she's ex-CIA. Patience, Sully says. Night 4, a storm rolls in. Perfect cover. I actually fall asleep. Then my phone buzzes. Notification. GPS moving. I stare at the screen. The dot leaves my porch, slides down the sidewalk, crosses the property line, goes up her driveway, to her front door, and stops in her dining room. I wait. Still there. Adrenaline spikes. I call 911. Not an emergency, but I'm tracking stolen property. GPS shows it's inside my neighbor's house. Pause. You have GPS on a doorbell? Long story. 5 minutes later, a cruiser pulls up. Officer Miller again. He looks at my phone, the glowing dot. That's precise, he says. Almost impressed. Well, that's probable cause. He knocks. Mrs. Gable answers in a pink robe. Confused innocence dialed to 11. There's stolen property inside your home, Miller says. GPS confirmed. For half a second, her eyes flicker. She tries to explain. Malfunction. Found it on her lawn. Plan to return it. Miller shakes his head. It's an outdoor camera, ma'am. It belongs outside. She opens the door wider. They retrieve it, bag it, and Miller hands her a clipboard. Theft citation. Poetry. She signs so hard the paper nearly rips. As they leave, Miller hands me the evidence bag. Next time, bolt it down. I promise I will. That night, soaked and grinning, I set the camera on the kitchen island. Sully's going to lose it. He does. Shows up with donuts. Laughs until the windows shake. She put it on the dining room table. Cold. We installed a new one in a steel cage. Lag bolts into studs. You'd need dynamite now. Mrs. Gable's blinds stay shut. A week later, a letter arrives. She stepped down from the architectural committee for personal legal matters. I step onto my porch. Pete the electrician yells, "House is looking good, Jack." For the first time, it feels like home. I see her blinds twitch. One eye. I wave. They snap shut. Good fences make good neighbors. Sometimes, though, a steel cage and a little righteous pettiness get the job done. So, where do you draw the line between standing up for yourself and escalating? Ever had a neighbor like that, or worse, been one? Tell me. I need to know I'm not alone.